Welcome to the Week 6 interactive lecture. This week's lecture is going to focus on revision. When we do revision, this means that we are in the rewriting stage of the writing process. So week 5 and week 6 of this class is the rewriting and the last stage of the writing process. The rewriting stage has two sub-stages. Revision, where you check for essay structure, and proofreading, where you check for grammar mistakes. We always do revision first. In other words, we check for essay structure first. Once we make sure we have an excellent essay structure where we have a thesis statement with matching topic sentences, then the next thing that's called revision, then the next thing we check for is proofreading or editing. And that's when we check for grammar mistakes, mechanics, punctuation mistakes, spelling mistakes, APA mistakes, did I sentence variety, that sort of thing. And then once you're done with the whole thing, then this week, for week 6, you are going to hand in your week 6 final draft. Your week 6 final draft is going to count as your midterm. So you need to include all of the teacher feedback that you saw in your week 4 rough draft and in your week 5 forum. So all of my teacher feedback, corrections need to be included in your final draft. If you just hand in the same thing over and over again, I will count points off of your grade. Because I've read your paper so many times, I will instantly be able to tell that whether or not you included the feedback and redid your paper or not. So you should all go back to your week 5 forum to see what teacher feedback I gave you, and then fix your paper for your final, for your final draft. That's why they call it the writing process. You got the week 2 was the pre-writing, then week 4 was writing, and then week 5 and 6 is the rewriting stage. So now you're going to know the writing process by heart. It's pre-writing, writing, rewriting. And so this presentation will focus mainly on rewriting or revision. The revision process. In this section, let's talk about revising your essay and see how Kim and Tom revised their essay. I reviewed the feedback from Professor H on my essay draft from last week, and I know what I need to improve it. I thought I had enough information in my essay, but I realized after submitting it that I needed to write each paragraph with 5 to 7 sentences. I'm glad I have a chance to fix it this week. So in her case, so that means that in all your papers, you have to make sure your paragraphs are 5 to 7 sentences, not less and not more, because you're writing an essay. Now, if I'm writing a creative story, see, this is where some people confuse narrative story with narrative essay. If I'm writing a narrative story or a creative story, yes, then you can have your paragraphs can go on and on and on, because you want to create an effect. You want to create a suspense. You want to describe the setting in detail. Like Charles Dickens went on for pages, and Proust, I think, had a paragraph for like 180 pages. He's most famous for that, I think. In any case, when you're doing literature or creative writing, your paragraphs can be really long because you show how creative you are. But when we write an essay is different, because when we write an essay, we're pretty much writing on an issue, and we are writing for research, and therefore your paragraphs have to be shorter, okay? And so that's why your paragraphs in an essay, where you're just informing, persuading, or convincing the reader of your point of view, or you're entertaining the reader, you still need to have 5 to 7 sentences. And in another presentation, I go over the difference between a story versus an essay. So if you have trouble distinguishing between the two, you can always email me, and then I will explain it more in detail. So let's go back to revision. So here, after reviewing your drafts, I see where improvements are needed. This week, we talk about how to improve your essay. When you revise your essay, you examine it as an entire product. It's important to analyze the full effect of the essay as a whole. When you do this, you review the essay for unity, support, and coherence. This is the feedback that Instructor Smith had on Kim's essay Body Paragraph Draft. Click the image or download from resources. Review the feedback. Is there any other feedback where you should provide based upon the written assignment rubric? Those who lead stressful lives sometimes have more health issues. Those who have more health issues have a diminished well-being. One way to decrease stress and improve health is to participate in calming activities. A couple of calming activities include petting or playing with a dog. Dog owners gain more from their dogs than slobbery kisses by reducing stress and improving overall well-being through exercise, calming activities, and companionship. And so here, this is a much better improvement over your initial introductory paragraph. So here she has her thesis statement as the last sentence of the first paragraph. And so here she has her, let's see if she did a good job in matching her thesis with her thesis statement. So here, stress can increase health issues because of the way the body reacts to it. With an increase in stress, a person's heart health decreases. So she did a great job with her APA, because when you talk about medical facts, historical facts, any kind of uncommon knowledge, you have to cite the source. And even if you say the citation in your own words, like this is a paraphrase quote, because there's no quotation marks. So this is known as an in-text citation, is when you cite medical facts. Then you need to put in, if there's no author name, you put in the website name. If there's no date, you put in n.d. So she did correctly her in-text citation. However, this paragraph is way too short, which is what this comment is. She needs to have 5 to 7 sentences. Pie structure, because I went over this. You need one sentence above, that is P. That is P is the main point from the thesis, and then 5 other sentences to explain what this in-text citation means. So here she has too short a paragraph. A less costly way to decrease stress than prescription medications is to adopt a dog. Instead of refilling expensive medications month after month, money can be diverted into play toys, and dog food, which is considerably less costly. Not only that, but using those play toys does not create any negative side effects unless laughter and joy can be considered as negatives. And so here she also needs to have a better, match here between her thesis statement and her her topic sentence. So she should add in to her thesis, dog owners gain more than slobbery kisses. You get overall well-being, you get calming activities. So most likely here, when you have calming activities with your dog, you do not have to buy expensive prescriptions in order to calm down. So I would put calming activities over here. And here you would have dogs reduce overall stress. So that would be, so she still needs topic sentences in order to better align with her thesis statement. And so she still needs to work this so that this particular essay is missing a topic sentence over here and a topic sentence over here that aligns better with the thesis statement. And you have to make sure that when you say that prescription drugs are better for your health, dog toys are better for your health than prescription drugs. Where did you get that information from? Did you just make it up off the top of your head? This is what this means. So whenever you, and also this expensive medications, she didn't write anything about expensive medications in her thesis statement. So this means, in this one, she did not follow her thesis statement. So like I said, this particular rough draft does not have good essay coherence. It doesn't have topic sentences that match the thesis statement. Therefore, she needs to revise her essay. So when I revised your essay in the week 5 forum, where I said, no, that's not a good thesis statement. No, those topic sentences, they don't match your thesis. As you can see from this example, that's a very common error when people write. And once again, this is different than writing a story. You might think, oh my God, this is so strict, so rigid. Well, it's because, once again, this is an essay. And in an essay, you have to be more precise. It's all about precision, unity, coherence. Whereas when I write a narrative story, it's all about suspense. It's all about creating the mood. It's all about pathos. In other words, when we do creative writing, it's more about emotion. When we write an essay, it's more about logic. So when we write more logically, because when we write an essay, we're writing about topics like, is gun control necessary? Or how can we solve climate change? Or is a COVID-19 vaccine really safe or unsafe? That sort of thing. You're usually making a claim about some issue that has worldwide or real life implications. And then when you're writing a creative story, usually you're writing about yourself, you're writing about somebody else, and you're writing a very captivating story that teaches a lesson. So when you write I'll talk about that later. See, I'm going off topic. So this is the reason why you have to have a thesis statement and topic sentences, so you don't go off topic. It's very natural for everybody, human nature, to go off topic. That's why it's so, in case you're wondering why such a rigid, strict structure, is because everybody goes off topic. So this way you don't go off topic. So when you revise your essay, you are not fixing spelling, punctuation, or grammatical errors. When you revise, you review the body of your essay to make sure that the subpoints you brought up in your introductory paragraph are well developed within the body, and that the sentences within these body paragraphs flow well. So you can use transition words. And so a common mistake was not having transition words in between your paragraphs. First, I became a nurse to help people. Second, I became a nurse in order to be a role model for my kids. Third, I became a nurse so I can have a stable job with benefits. Finally, or most importantly, I became a nurse because. So usually the last reason is the most important reason. Your book calls that the emphatic order. Yeah, emphatic. You can look that up. So when we revise our essay, we're looking for unity, support, coherence, and sentence skills. So here, unity. To achieve unity, all the details of an essay must be related to the thesis. Each time you consider discussing a point in your essay, it should pass this test. Does this point support the thesis? If it doesn't, leave it out. Advance a single point and stick to it. Be certain that all of your paragraph details relate to your topic sentences. And be certain that all of your paragraphs relate to your thesis. And so that's pretty much, so what I'd like for you to do, this is why I highlighted the week 5 forum, so that you don't need to highlight, when you give me the final draft, you don't need to highlight it. I only highlighted in purple for teaching purposes. So when you go back and look at the week 5 forum, I highlighted where the thesis statement was, and then I highlighted topic sentences. Now, some students have perfect topic sentences and just needed transition words. Other students don't even have a thesis statement, and they still need to write their topic sentences. And most commonly, most people had a good thesis statement, but they did not have good topic sentences. That was the most common error, actually, among students, is not having topic sentences that relate back to the thesis. And so you need to have unity, and everything, all of your topic sentences must be related to the thesis. Support consists of the details, facts, and examples that are used to prove an idea. Support is about using facts so that the reader will believe you. All essays must have support to be effective. A good thesis should contain 3 points of support, which are discussed in the body paragraphs of the essay. And details should be vivid, specific, authoritative. And so here, I'm always, whenever I compliment a student with a good thesis statement, I would say, you have a really good thesis statement because you have 3 reasons which become your body paragraphs. So this is pretty much what this lady is saying, that a good thesis should contain 3 points of support which become the body paragraphs. Coherence. Coherence is this one. Coherence in an essay means that all of the points stick together like glue. They flow into one another logically and make sense when compared alongside to one another. Coherence is when transitional words and phrases are used to organize the flow of sentences and paragraphs into a specific order within the essay. So as I was saying, chronological, you can use chronological order transition words such as first, second, third, finally. You can also use transition words of addition. That's different ways of saying and, like in addition, moreover, furthermore. You can have transition words of opposition. That's different ways of saying but. So you have however, on the other hand. And then you can have transition words of cause and effect. That's different ways of saying because. So you don't say because. And then you have transition words of consequence, of sequence, sorry. So you have transition words of sequence, sequentials, transition words. So instead of saying so all the time, you can say things like thus, therefore. And so in order to have good transition words, you should only have 2 transition words per paragraph, not more than that. You don't have to have every single sentence with a transition word. That's overload. Just about two transition words inside a paragraph is fine. But I was going to say you should all Google the words, transition words, okay? And then print out your own list of transition words so that while you're writing and you're thinking, what is another way of saying and? Then you look down at the transition words of addition. Oh, okay. How come I'm saying but too many times? Then you look at the list of transition words of opposition. So you find different ways of saying but. How come I'm saying so all the time? Oh, okay. I got to look up the transition words of sequence. So that sort of thing. And so it's always good to have your own list of transition words so that when you use transition words, your essay has better coherence as the paragraphs flow into each other. And so transition words organize and connect your evidence. Be certain your body paragraphs reflect your thesis statement. Sentence skills. When you revise your essay, make sure the sentence is clear and easy to read. Write complete sentences rather than fragments. Do not write run-on sentences. Use verb form correctly. Make sure that subjects, verbs, and pronouns agree. And so when we study here, what is a fragment? A fragment is when you use a subordinating conjunction or a dependent clause and you don't complete that sentence with an independent clause. So that we're going to study for the week 7 quiz. So when you study sentence structure, and you know that the 3 basic sentences in English is a simple sentence, a compound sentence, and a complex sentence, and a compound complex sentence. Actually, there's 4 kinds. And once you know those 4 kinds of sentences, you will not make sentence fragments. Run-on sentences is when you have 2 different sentences and you forget to put a period. So if I don't put a period and I just say, John went to the store, he came back a few minutes ago, and I don't put a period, then one sentence runs into the next, because the whole idea of having a period is that way you stop, and then you say the next sentence. So that means that's one easy way of remembering what is a run-on sentence. Another way to fix a run-on sentence besides a period is to add a coordinating conjunction. So you could say, John went to the store and he just came home a few minutes ago, and you put a comma. So you got two ways to fix run-on sentences. Either you put a period and you capitalize the first word of each sentence, or you use a coordinating conjunction to combine the two sentences together. Use verb form correctly. If you have, if the first verb in your sentence is a present tense, second verb needs to be present tense. You need to have consistent verb tense. So like the book, Langen book gives you a good example. You can't say the gardener planted the fruit, then will dig up the dirt, and sat on his knees in the garden. Then I have three different verb tenses. I'm like, so you have to have the same one. You could say plants, he plants the seeds, he sits on his knees, and he, that sort of thing. So simple present. So whatever tense you started with, that's the same tense you use. So simple present. It's kind of like parallelism, but it's consistent verb tense. Make sure that your subject, verbs, and pronouns agree. So that means that if you have a plural subject, you have a plural verb. If you have a singular subject, you have a singular verb. So we don't say you is, we say you are. We don't say I are. I say I am. So you have to make sure that you have subject-verb agreement. So this is what you do when you revise your essay in the proofreading stage of your essay. After you make sure your whole body, you make sure your essay structure is perfect. When you get to the proofreading part of your essay, that's what you're going to do all of this stuff. You're going to make sure you have good sentence structure, make sure you have complete sentences, and you make sure all your verbs, you make sure you have no spelling errors, typos, and no APA errors. And then here, close, critical, multiple readings are key to improve sentence skills. Set your text aside for a day or so and reread your text for clear, error-free, varied sentence construction. Read your text for clear, free, varied sentence construction. Have peers read your text for clear, error-free, varied sentence construction. Oh, okay, I could have made it bigger. Sorry about that. I didn't know I could make this bigger. All right, so here are some tips for revision. You can read it several times. You can have close, critical, multiple readings are key to improving sentence skills. Set your text aside for a day or so and reread your text for clear, error-free, varied sentence construction. Read your text for clear, error-free sentence construction. Have peers read your text for, so you can read, you gotta read it many times, then you could take a break because you become too familiar with your paper. You may not see your mistakes anymore. And then you can have someone else that you trust who knows English really well to read your paper over. Or you can have a tutor. You can go to smartthinking.com to have them look at your paper. But you've got to give them, I think it's 48 hours turnaround. You can also use Grammarly, which is a grammar, that helps with your grammar. Grammarly is a free, I think, grammar software you can use as well. So there are many ways in which you can revise your paper for sentence skills. I believe this was sentence skills. Okay. So next. So all of the points stick together like glue. Is that unity, support, coherence, or sentence skills? And so here, when all the points stick together like glue, then that means it is coherence. That's correct. So, questions to ask when revising an essay. Let's take a look at Kim's essay to answer these questions and help her revise her essay. Is my purpose expressed in a strong thesis statement? Are my ideas in logical order? Do I have enough support and evidence to prove my points? Are there additional details that do not relate to my topic that should be removed? Do my ideas relate to each other? Where can I use stronger transitions to create smooth flow of thought? So here's a good thesis statement. Kim might be able to make her thesis statement stronger by tying it back to the first sentence. What's missing in her thesis statement when you compare it to her first sentence? And so you could say that in order to lead a less stressful life and have less health issues, people should own a dog, because owning a dog can reduce stress and improve well-being. And then she could take away all this stuff about slobbery kisses and stuff like that. So yeah, she could combine the first sentence with the last sentence in order to have a more circular, that's called a circular paragraph. I didn't teach you guys that. But anyway, so your topics, in this case, the hook is circular, and then it relates back to the thesis. It's known as a circular introduction paragraph. Anyway, so you would say that in order to have a less stressful life, you need to own a dog, and then then you can have dog owners and the rest of it. So that's what's missing to relate it back to. And I don't think, let me go back. All right, are my ideas in clear logical order? So stress can increase health issues because of the way that the body reacts to it. With an increase in stress, one's heart's health decreases. A less costly way to decrease stress is to adopt a dog. And so he's saying that this paragraph doesn't follow because he didn't talk about medications in his thesis statement. So therefore, this paragraph doesn't relate back to the thesis. Do I have enough support? And so here, she does not have enough support because she has a paragraph that is too short. Each paragraph needs to have 5 to 7 sentences. So all she did was write the first 2 sentences, and now she's missing 5 other sentences to support her topic sentence. Because if her topic sentence is stress is bad for your health, now she has to give examples of why stress is bad for your health. And so she could use one in-text citation and then write 5 sentences about that in-text citation. So that's one way of providing support for your, so she did the same thing here and here. All she did was write a topic sentence and an in-text citation, and now she's missing her 5 sentences to support her topic sentence. And remember, each paragraph must have 5 to 7 sentences. I think I did this one. Yeah, I think I did this one. Okay, not only this, but using these play toys does not create any side effects. This is also not in the thesis statement. So you got to make sure that everything that you write about relates back to the thesis. Do my ideas relate to each other? The ideas in the thesis are all relatable. Where this draft breaks down is the second paragraph of the body. Kim will not only need to rewrite one paragraph, but the ideas within that paragraph should relate back to the introduction and should also relate within the paragraph itself. So they're saying that, see, in this particular thesis statement, she talked about reducing stress, exercise, calming activities, and companionship. And then paragraph 2 should be about reducing stress. Paragraph 3 should be about exercise. Paragraph 4 should be about calming activities. Paragraph 5 should be about companionship. Therefore, that her paragraphs do not match her thesis statement. That's pretty much, she has to rewrite this entire paper so that she would have a topic sentence for paragraph 2 is owning a dog reduces stress. Okay, that's paragraph 2. Owning a dog improves overall well-being through exercise when you walk the dog. The next paragraph, owning a dog is very calming because of all the calming activities associated with having that dog. And then the next one is, most importantly, it's the companionship with that dog that is really good for your health. That is an essay that has coherence and unity. And so obviously this one does not. So this is what they're saying, that this okay, so where can I use, when Kim rewrites this third paragraph, she needs to make sure to transition the ending of that paragraph. Yeah, so basically when you use transition words inside a paragraph, so I told people to just write first, second, and third. Okay, that's one way to use transition words. You can also use transition words inside your paragraph. So instead of saying, John went to the store and he just came home, you would say John went to the store, and then period. In addition, he just came home. And then usually you would write a transition word right before the last sentence of the paragraph, because you're transitioning. There's the last sentence of the paragraph. You're transitioning into the next paragraph. So if my thesis statement is smoking causes lung cancer, throat cancer, and stomach cancer, so when I transition from the lung cancer paragraph to the stomach cancer, I would say not only does vaping cause lung cancer, but it also causes stomach cancer. And then the next paragraph would be third, vaping causes stomach cancer, that sort of thing. So the last sentence is used. Final, you use things like finally. So that would be transition words of conclusion, okay? And that would give you a list of transition words that you can use right before the last sentence of a paragraph, and also right at the beginning of your conclusion paragraph. Those are the two places where you can use transition words of conclusion. Those are words like finally, all in all, in conclusion, in summary, to sum it all up. Those are the ones that come off the top of my head, you know. So you need to transition to your next paragraph in the last sentence of the last sentence of the paragraph. Let's see if I can get back to, that's it. We did this one, and we finished this. So I really appreciate Instructor Smith's suggestions. They will definitely help me improve my final essay. That's it. Okay. So that's the end of your week 6 interactive lecture. And I think that these interactive lectures are just a summary of your weekly readings in the Langen book. And so if you have any questions about how to revise a paper, you can always email me. So this ends the video on week 6 interactive lecture.